voices of unknown origin appearing on radio frequencies.
Well, say hello.
Talk a treat, motherfucker.
All right, so we have the pleasure of sitting down today with, your handle is Chuck McDuff.
Yeah.
What do you go by?
I go by Chuck.
Chuck?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
The McDuff was added a long time ago and just never got changed. So.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Chuck.
All right.
So Chuck's, because Charles is also short for Chuck, so it's not like, that's normal, right?
Yeah,
Am I crazy?
Yeah,
it's not Charlie.
It's like the...
Oh, wait, sorry. He has to finish the intro.
That was the intro.
Okay, well then, what does Chuck do exactly?
Well, mask maker, monster creator, creature creator.
And proof that dyeing your hair blonde can look fucking awesome. Because I'm telling you right now, if I did this, disaster, dude.
It's actually my wife.
She does it?
Yeah, she does it.
Well, your wife, dude, is she like... I gotta say, man, like I'm in this basement. The first time I met you, I came down and I go, my basement sucks compared to your, like, what happened that you got, like, what did you have to do to get this? Because this is clearly an element that you have full control over, I'm assuming. I don't think, but this is, we're going to have B-roll about, like, on all this stuff, but it's unbelievable here. You can't tell. We got a section of it. You could see kind of what we're talking about. This here and on, unreal. Like, I want to live here.
I mean, I'm lucky enough to have like a really supportive wife.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
And I mean, it started with like I sculpted on that table.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Well, man.
And then I got a workbench. And then my wife is like, what is it going to be next? I'm like, no, it's just going to be that.
Wait, slow down. I got to take notes on how you did this.
Well, let's also say, like, what's the reason why we're sitting down with you today is because of the fact that you have, I would say it's even more than a hobby just on what we're seeing right now. But what is it that you do? How would you describe it? Because obviously we're surrounded by your work.
Yeah.
To me, you're a mask maker, but I don't know if there's the proper terminology.
I mean,
for what this is,
I think mask maker is accurate. It can be. I'm a sculptor.
Yeah.
I'm a mold maker, painter, caster. It's
definitely artistic.
Yeah, exactly. It's really.
Can we say artist? I mean, that makes sense. I call a chef an artist, man. This is insane to me. This is crazy. Beyond. And by the way, before I don't want to cut you off because like we're here to talk to you, but like I recently painted, and I'm not gonna. We'll show it up on the. I have to talk about this because I thought about you. At this point, I had met you briefly because I came with you to get a couple of magnets. That we got, which are awesome. I got this mask I wanted to paint for Halloween. I'm gonna wear it next year, and I'm like, I'm painting. At this point, it's like third coat over my mistakes. Like I had literally had to repaint it. And I was thinking of Chuck. I go, how does he do this, dude? I'm just painting. I didn't make the mask. And I'm like, it's so difficult. And I have no prior experience. I'm kind of artistic, not in this sense, but I play music and all this stuff, but it doesn't really translate to like that has nothing to do with what I was doing. And I couldn't believe the effort I was it took me like a week and a half to paint something that was already made.
Was it your first time?
It was my first time.
Yeah.
To be fair. So, I put like a Salem, like a sealant over the Mod Podge.
Yeah.
And I was like, I better be like, and I was thinking the light, the way it affects all this stuff. So all this to consider. And all I did was one step of it, finishing it. To do all this all this to say is I was amazed by what you do because I'm seeing everything like, this is movie quality esque. Very Rick Baker like in my opinion.
And let's start with that. When did you get started?
I got started with, I was into horror and creatures since I was a kid. Like my grandma every Christmas or birthday, she was like, okay, I'm going to pick up the most ugly fucking figurine for Charles because
I feel the love.
Yeah, because he's going to love it. And so it started there, but then in 2020, you got COVID hit.
Yeah, the world changed.
And then I got a little bit more time at home.
Okay, so this was somewhat recent then. It
is pretty recent.
Okay,
I mean,
wait, hold on. This is a 4 or 5 year endeavor for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first,
did you guys hear this?
I mean, I would say maybe 3 years, and then my business I started a year and a half ago.
Wow. So for me now, because I don't. There's no school for this. I don't think. I mean, it's sort of a hobby that you develop. Did you have experience like leading up to 2020, or
no
2020 was your first?
No experience.
Okay, so what inspired you then? Why did you decide to like all of a sudden like okay, I'm into horror, but was there something else that you?
I kept seeing those classes like the Stan Winston schools of character arts, and it's like a subscription base, and it's a online school. So you have like teachers from the FX industry that teach you how to sculpt, and then how to mold, how to cast, and it's such a good school. And if you really, and I just spend so much time and so many videos of just watching and like taking notes. And just practicing after, and
that is so cool.
This is so inspirational for me right now.
Yeah, why?
Because I'm a huge comic book nerd. Love comic books, and I've been always in my head. I'm like, I want to start drawing. I want to start creating my own comics in a sense, just drawing superheroes. But I don't feel like I have that artistic gene. And my parents have tried to and my wife they've tried to get me into it, and they would they've bought me books on how to draw it, but I haven't opened them yet. And I'm just like, oh man, it's too late.
It's never too late.
I'm in my 30s, but that's the thing.
Out of here, stop.
I hear that all the time. But like,
this is
just the fact that you've done all this within a short period of time. I'm like,
but he asks, what I think you're getting at is, can someone who's not necessarily has artistic experience or background, maybe they consider like two left hands, as they say. Could someone really be effective and good at that if they're not maybe a solid artist to begin with? You know what I mean? Like if
a lot of people say if you put enough work into it, you have to be talented, but at the same time, if you put enough work, you're
passion has to be there. The passion has to be there.
Yeah, how far can talent take you?
But at the same time, how far can it take you? Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I'm not expecting to make my own comics or anything like that. It's just to get started. I always feel for whatever reason, it's too late. Like,
but it's not too late. Like I started when I was already married.
Kids.
I already had kids.
Yeah.
And
2 kids.
I had a steady job. Yeah. Like it's never too late. I was like, now I'm 31. I started maybe like when I was 28, 29.
Right.
Like it's never too late.
But who? I'm curious to know who inspired you. Like, did you used to? I know. For me, anytime I would watch movies, the process fascinated me just as much as the actual end product. So like something like
it's for me it's deep rooted.
Exactly.
Like
so when you would watch movies, was there like, okay, well, I'm seeing things, and I will get into what movies you like too, at some point. But was there anyone or anyone's work that you would see and say, look, that's something that I would love to do one day or whatever? Like there must have been something that inspired.
I think the answers are literally
I know. Well, that makes you obvious. I'm sitting, I think, next to one great example. But is there one that maybe stands out? Or
I mean, like Jack Pierce, what he did in the 30s for
he's
Universal Monsters.
Wait. Actually,
for anyone who doesn't know,
is this Creature from the Black Lagoon?
No, way before.
Way before.
The 30s.
Frankenstein and all like
he did Frankenstein.
Yeah,
basically all the Universal monster movies. He's sort of the godfather of the whole.
Yeah, he's like the Rick Baker for the the pre-code era or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Just with the risk of sounding like a moron here. Was he also the one, or am I confusing him with the Phantom of the Opera guy, where he did the
Lon Chaney?
Lon Chaney, and he did his own. He did his own work.
He did his own thing.
So you get inspiration from him as well, type of sense.
I didn't grow up with that one. No. It was really just the Universal monster. Mm-hmm. Universal has been part of my life for a long time with the theme parks and everything.
Yeah.
And but also like I used to be really into slashers as a teenager, and I want to see kills, I want to see blood, I want to see guts, I want to see creepy shit.
Is there one that stands out, or a movie or a scene? Like immediately when you said that, I thought of like Jason in space, and when you like shattered the girl's, like it was absolutely like, if for someone like you, do you see that and go, I want to make a version of that somehow, even though her head came off, but
I mean, it's
because I agree with you. Sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry, but like there's so many like when I see something done I go, I don't think, oh, gross. I go, how did they do that? Like, how did they manage to get like Kevin Bacon's throat, you know, like to expand here, you know?
It's funny you say that because you asked me a question earlier and I automatically thought about that one.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That one is just so cool.
It's
like,
so cool.
You don't want to see that in the VFX.
But,
like,
you know,
want to see practical.
I know. Like, part of me goes, yeah, gross, great. Everyone's reacting negatively to it, you know, as they should.
That's the goal of it.
Yeah, exactly. But you're like, I want to know who worked on that. How did they do that? You know? That's kind of like, I think people like us would, I don't, although you're in the work, you know, specifically, but trust me, it doesn't go unnoticed. I want to know how they did that. It's so interesting. I'll watch the documentary on things like that. Like I've seen these things, you know what I mean?
I remember growing up having that VHS of the making of Thriller.
Oh God! Man. Yes, I watch that at least once a year.
Yeah, with like Rick Baker and stuff, and I just grew up with that. Like, I know, and I'm not the only one. Like everybody, is just the same. That
what's that other one he came out with in the early 2000s that I loved?
Ghost.
Yeah, I love that. You know, that was like an event. I remember when that came out. My mom was I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. You know, and when that video came out, it was like an event, which doesn't happen now. It's not like an artist that comes out and maybe there is, and
maybe it's just not for us.
Well, videos aren't what they used to be.
No, there was an event. He came out with, I think it was like the day or two before Halloween. He came out with that video, and it's exciting because you know he's a big fan of horror. There's production in that stuff. There's going to be, you know, it was like a little mini movie. It was like a 45-minute long thing. But you know, not to get off topic or anything, but you know, well, it's all on topic, I guess. But yeah, but I did want to ask you too if there's like is there like a logo, a particular image, like I'm seeing, you know, this count list here in front of me that you go, shoot, that's like the epitome of my work, you know, like, is there like a stairway to heaven for you that like, you know, in terms of a mask, a design?
That I did?
No, like the North Star for you that is as perfect of an image or mold or, you know, like it could be anything from like a, you know, creature from the Black Lagoon, like that whole... You know, what is kind of the epitome of your work in your opinion? If I'm explaining myself correctly.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would say just like I'll go with stupid, but werewolf. American Werewolf.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Like,
I would say that's like, I mean, that's like, that's a good pick, I'd say.
It's probably going to be everyone's pick, but it's just like a perfect werewolf that has been recreated over and over.
Yeah. I mean, that transformation sequence.
You have perfect sculpt, perfect transformation, perfect filmmaking at the time. With the editing, how to use actual practical effects with film.
And editing.
Exactly.
That was the star of the show. That scene in the movie. Yeah.
Also, I like it a lot because it's seeing a transformation of a man going to a wolf, and you see the pain that he's going through. Whereas in the Lon Chaney Jr. versions, where the original Wolfman, he's basically just sitting down, looking at a mirror, and you just see them cutting with more and more stuff applied to his face. I'm like, well, if you're going to be turning into a Wolfman, it might hurt, you know. So you're seeing the actual, like I'm saying, for the American Werewolf scene, he's clearly in pain.
Yeah, exactly.
And seeing that transformation, I think that also makes it so iconic too. It's like obviously the way he looks, but you know, it went from just a face wolf, which is like the original Wolfman, to like an entire creature on 4 legs. Yeah. And seeing that transformation and the pain that he goes through, I think that was like one of the most iconic horror scenes I think of all time. Like really, that's top 5.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And especially that the scene is just super overlit.
Like, they're not hiding anything.
They're not hiding anything.
Well, that's what they want to showcase, which is brave because they go, how confident in your work you have to be to go, no, lights on, all of it. Because typically when you hide blemishes or it's not as strong here, let's put that in darkness. It's so true. I never thought of that.
It's so patchy now. We see everything. Oh, let's put some fog on top of it. That's what we did here.
Thanks, Chuck.
Actually, why we turned on the
Can we get some more fog in here? Can we, just a little bit, you know? We got some awesome helpers here. Well, they're actually the stars of the show here too. I mean, we got Alex and Russell. Thanks, guys, for helping.
No, I don't know all over.
Yeah, speaking of hiding things, you know, I asked that too because for me, a big... Like my North Star, I know I'm not in the business or anything like that. It's the Misfits logo. The Crimson Skull is my favorite. Dude, that logo is on people. You don't even know people who wear that, you know, whether it's on their shirt or whatever, on their backpacks.
It's iconic.
They don't even know what it is. It's just that image where that's an example for me that although not in the work, that is a perfect logo in my opinion. So when I think of like, there's no adding, there's no removing of anything. That thing is as perfect as it gets to me, and it sells. Clearly, it still does. Like I said, it's you know, you don't have to be a punk fan, a Misfits fan. Everyone knows what that is, and it's also universally understood as like very nice looking. You know, so. I guess like, you know, by the way, the thing I was talking about, what I painted, that was the mask, you know,
that was it.
That was the version of
Do you have a picture of it, or
I'm going to put it up on the video podcast. So but I was thinking about bringing it, but then I thought like, imagine making, and not here. I'll bring it to Corey's house and my brother's house. But like, if imagine bringing craft dinner to Gordon Ramsay, be like, what do you think of my craft dinner? You know, it's like, you can't, dude, I'm embarrassed to bring it. I was going to bring it. And I couldn't because I saw your basement, and I was like, "I'm gonna water down the whole fucking thing." You know what I mean? It's so embarrassing. But I had fun.
Is do you find it's a lost art? This work?
Yes. Okay. I think it's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
It is coming back.
It's coming back.
Oh yeah.
Is that true?
I think so too.
I think because we grew up with 90s movies, 80s movies. We grew up with practicals.
Yeah.
Like, and now what is popular now is nostalgia. And
good point.
What do we want for that? We want to see practical effects and practical stuff, and we want to feel it. We like in an era where the soul is all ripped off with the AI and stuff like that.
Thank you, dude. And I was gonna say,
you need valuable things that has been felt by a human. Like
in a way, the
emotional connection.
Go ahead, Corey.
Oh, sorry. But like CGI can do wonderful things. And,
sure.
All the stuff, whatever. But there is that something about knowing that someone or multiple people sat down and created this thing out of actual materials and made it lifelike. Like, and just case in point, this is kind of a callback to one of our previous episodes when we talked about the Gremlins. I saw recently that they're coming out with a new Gremlins, and they're deciding to go with all puppets again. Like they're not going to do CGI creatures. It's going to be all puppets. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Like that's what I want to see.
Right.
Exactly.
I think there's a demand for, in the big debate now is like CGI versus practical, you know, and you see kind of like the cheaper way. Actually, I don't even know anymore. I mean, but the tendency is to go with CGI.
Yeah, because they don't have to think about it. They can do whatever the fuck they want right after.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, there is a limitless kind of, which I find it hurts the art form, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like my opinion, the best art is when you have actual limitation, because that's where the creativity works.
I totally agree. Yeah.
When you're limitless,
it's hard.
You lose it.
Well, you lose it, but it's exactly it. Yeah, there's nothing pushing against.
Exactly.
You have to fight something. I mean,
also it does age your movie in a sense negatively. Like for example, we said this on the same podcast where it's like if you have CGI. If you go back to like 2003, where it was like peak CGI, you're like, it's so 2003, dude.
Yeah.
Even though at the time it looked great, but you know it comes from that era. You can pinpoint, and you know, naturally 20 years goes by and you go, shit, that looks bad. Gremlins looks amazing still.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Because we're 2025 now, and I'm watching movies that have CGI characters, whatever, and I'm like,
it looks horrible.
I've seen movies. Yeah, I've seen movies way back when that used CGI that looked so much better. Like, how are we going backwards? It's
well, dude. 2001: A Space Odyssey still looks amazing. There's not one piece of that was done.
Yeah,
it was all in camera. It's insane, and it looks gorgeous still. Dude, that was 68? 68? Later? 69?
2001?
Not 2001, you idiot.
What did you say?
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
that came out in
2001, as in you're asking about the movie. It was 2001, dude. I was like, you're...
Because I said, what year is it? And then you come out with 2001.
No slander.
Don't slander Daredevil. But no. All this to say is that, I totally agree with you. And the art form it's a greater, by the way, for someone who cares about movies, I think all of us do. I mean, clearly, you know, we're not maybe the mass audience who just wants to be entertained. Yeah, I do want to be entertained naturally, but I do find it way more interesting to watch something that's done.
But you can entertain and still make it an art form.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well,
and I don't want to denigrate any VFX.
No, I do. I think we should.
I think it's important. Can see like
there is art form to that too. In my opinion,
there's a great art form.
Yeah, because people are working on that. Yeah,
and I think that it needs a balance.
Yeah, balance.
And now, if you only go to CGI, it's going to show. But a good example is Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
Yeah.
you watch that today and
Still
you
great.
believe
Yeah.
everything. The animatronics of the T-Rex is phenomenal.
Yeah, they do such a great mix. Like they blend it in perfectly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a perfect movie for me.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
actors too. I hear this often is that they prefer acting in front of a green ball versus an actual thing. It's like so much easier to believe a performance when there's a 20-foot. Even though it's animatronic, it's like, well, I could react to this way easier than just like look up there and pretend there's a giant thing chasing.
But don't you find we feel that as an audience member too?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's a difference for us.
Totally.
It removes the feeling. You're an actor, but there's a limit.
Of course,
how people can act.
Yeah,
like,
I totally agree.
You said though that you slashers are your big. That's where you.
That's
so Universal
my
Monsters,
things were
slasher movies.
Yeah.
Is there a time period for horror cinema that you feel like it was
the peak?
Or there's a golden age again? The Universal Monsters are that's what it was. That was its thing. You have the 70s and 80s for the more realism and the
It's funny because I think every
decade
has their own
100%. Yeah.
And I grew up with.
What is it now though? I'm sorry, but like
now
I feel like it's not as defined.
Is it?
Well, actually, yes, it is. But in a way, I guess because I don't like it as much.
Okay.
But the elevated horror is the thing now a little bit.
Wait. Why'd you do this?
Because it's a bit of a you can just put a label on anything and it's marketable that way. So I'm
not a big fan of the term. Not to say that the movies. I don't have no opinion.
Yeah,
on
no.
It's a little bit pretentious to.
I don't like it because I think it dismisses previous movies. Because I said this just today to Alex. I was like, "Well, is Psycho not elevated enough for you?" I thought it was pretty damn good. What's wrong with Psycho? Like, I'm not saying that that we're crapping on Psycho by calling but it's don't kid yourself. This isn't any better than what it was 40 years ago. It's a little pretentious, like you said. It's we're advanced, it's like not so fast. There's some simplicity that you can maybe go back to the well sometimes. There's some good stuff there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big, like we made a joke once. It's like, well, the monster is based on a mortgage, payment. So everyone's got to fear the mortgage. So we're going to turn that monster into like, it's like, it doesn't need to be so commentary on society. Sometimes it's simple.
Yeah.
Is
like
effective.
Monsters, just being monsters,
Yeah. Like
he's just under the bed because
Pennywise is under the sewer just because he's under the sewer. It's not because he's, like there's not some bigger picture thing.
Movies have been like that. Like I understand what they're trying to say about elevated horror, but horror movies and monster movies have always kind of commented on the state of the current time. Like Godzilla's my biggest thing, where it's like clearly we all know what that one's about, right? So they always had that commentary. So I don't. Yeah. I don't know. Whenever I hear elevated horror, I'm like, okay, so it's not the basic teenagers having sex, getting killed. Like that's
but
it's elevated if it doesn't have that.
It's not the filmmakers that are calling it elevated.
Good point.
Right. Yeah. It's the critics or
the critics or the fans. So it's made up. Like 100%. When you make that, you have like you can call anything nowadays elevated horror because there's a sub
message or something.
Yeah, like pizza. It's like too many ingredients is too many ingredients, man. If you make a margarita, bro, it's always better.
I also think there's lately I prefer having a more style approach to horror movies. Like I love that gothic sort of fog, and it was the whole Nosferatu thing that recently came out. Movies like that, I think for me resonate a lot easier, just because like I like the process and the end result to me is a lot more
it's artistic,
tangible. Yeah, exactly. It's way more artistic. Where if
Chuck hasn't finished Nosferatu.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, he's he's an hour in.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
well, he's busy, man. He's got 2 kids.
No, I get it.
Give him a break. No, but that is a good example of a new movie that it's a throwback. Going back to the well, simple, nothing crazy. It's not maybe elevated for the audience, but I thought it was fantastic. I love that.
Something that it is, but I mean, it's still,
something that it is. Maybe I find it's such a meat and potatoes, effective, looks great. I like the movie because it does feel like it stands out to the rest, in my opinion. I had a feeling of but you haven't finished. I'm not going to spoil anything, but
I mean, I think everything is spoiled to me anyway.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure online. Yeah, it's everywhere. But just being a mask maker, prosthetics, and all that, I assume you've seen long enough into the movie where you know what Nosferatu looks like in this movie. Opinions, thoughts about his overall
we have
look.
different opinions. That's what we want to know. You could settle this debate for us.
I mean, I I've seen. I was trying to avoid the design at all costs before seeing the movie because I wanted the surprise. Because everybody was like, "Oh, you're not going to believe it." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I saw it and I was like, cool. But then it kind of grew on me.
Yes, that's.
But I don't like people are like talk shit about everything all the time and complaints, and I am fed up with that. Yeah. So I agree fucking with accept it. Like that's what he wanted to do. That's what he did. Well, that's what he's gonna do.
I have my opinion on it. How about this? Because it's in the book. Like that's why it's right there.
But that's not always not always the best excuse.
I find excuse or not, it's like Harry Potter. I always say this: Harry Potter had that mark on his forehead, and no one's complaining about that. Why? It's in the book. It's like
I get that.
Yeah, but no one reads anymore. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
but my thing is, people were like offended by his look. I go, wait. It's one thing to not like it. That's an opinion. I agree. You don't have to like anything. No one's forcing it down your throat. But to say it's completely like I heard things like it's so far removed from. Well, I send you guys clips of people's opinions, and they're using things like it doesn't look. It's wrong. It's basically blasphemous, and I'm like, dude, we're talking about like.
At the end of the day, if it makes people want to see it, then I'm happy because I'd rather have ass and seats at the end of the day.
I mean, they make money just by
exactly. This podcast isn't about that, but that is as a good representation of modern sort of, a horror movie. I thought it was like such a throwback. I loved it. I love that movie.
Everybody's complaining.
Everyone's complaining about it?
Well, complaining about anything. The choices that directors are making for your horror movies.
I have a real simple answer to that.
And I have to... I love a good director that just does whatever the hell he wants.
That has a voice.
Right. Yeah,
like, so much backlash for the Wolfman... The Wolfman design. Shut up about it. Yeah, that's what he wanted to do. That's what he's.
Well, I say you make it. You make your movie.
Like, no, exactly.
And by the way, let's not crap. We just lost a great one, David Lynch. You know what I mean? Like, talk about a guy who, like, one of one. Do you want less of these guys? You don't have to like his films. No. I love it. They're not all for me. That's fine. But like David Lynch is a guy who you don't want to stifle that. Like, let the guy do his thing. And if you hate it, go ahead and make your movie, man. Good luck. Like, it's not easy, so, I don't know, what do you, someone made something literal and made it look cool, so, anyway, this is about you,
Well, I'm very curious on the process. When you have an idea, how do you go from what's in your head to the final product?
I generally, so my phone is like filled with screenshots of
inspirational
stuff that I see on Instagram or online. And at some point I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a werewolf or whatever. And then I bring back all the reference that I have. I look at more references. I bring them up. And then I like to do like, okay, I like the eyes on that one. I like the nose on that one. The mouth, how it like is a little bit uneven here is kind of cool. And then I incorporated a little bit of everything in it.
And do you have sort of a template drawing or do you go?
No, I don't.
So you have
sketch.
Your, okay.
I follow the clay as well.
Okay. Okay, so you go like whatever direction you kind of...
Whatever, you take a reference, I look at the reference and then I follow the clay.
Follow the clay.
Basically.
Might be the title of the episode.
Follow the clay.
Follow the clay.
I love it.
But, it's also really like... It's kind of I feel like it's a good band name or something.
Follow the clay?
I don't know. I'm getting song material.
It reminds me of that album from Creed.
Oh my God! There'll be no slandering of Creed tolerated on this podcast. I think we're all big fans. Well, first of all, we're all white guys, right? So Creed is naturally
it's in our DNA.
It's in our DNA to like Creed, right? Am I crazy here? Russell, what do you think? Dude, hey. No, but come on. With arms wide open, like it just my whiteness is coming out.
When you sculpt, is that always on? Because that
Creed.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anything more inspiring,
just that album.
Okay, good. That's fine.
Only that album. I don't remember what it was the title exactly, but it was.
I like how some lame bands are now turning around like that full circleness, like Nickelback. Can we talk about it? Nickelback never sucked in my opinion.
It's more of people are the term there, we're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you. But I have such a love for these bands. Anyways, Nickelback not so much, but
I don't
Creed,
mind Nickelback.
I have no problem saying I do enjoy Creed. But anyways, we're not talking about them.
But the process now. Okay, so you started with you kind of
I put on my
pun intended, but the Frankenstein of all the designs. So. Is there a part of the process that you either love or hate, or you see it as like, I got to get through this? I'm more curious on that.
What I hate is like my wife will.
Okay, well, hold on.
She always
after you say my wife. No. Okay.
She always supports me.
We got
at
you
that
now.
point.
We got on camera. He hates his wife.
Yeah. No. My wife always supports me when I'm at that point, so I can go through it. But it's when I sculpt at some point, it just looks really not like. You have to trust the process, and it doesn't look like what you want.
I can imagine.
And then
so you pass that, you just
and then I go upstairs and I tell my wife, and then she's like, "Well, you tell me that every time. Like it's gonna be fine. You're gonna figure it out."
I relate to this.
And I'm like, I hate it. And then I look at pictures that I took of the sculpt, and I'm like, I hate it. And then I wake up the next morning, and it's like, okay, it's not that bad. I know now what I'm gonna need to modify and stuff.
Yeah.
So that part I always hate it.
So it's more when you realize it's not coming, because nothing is like how
the
you have it in
vision is
your
not
head.
there yet.
Exactly. Right.
And then it's that rush of wanting to finish it or be there before the time.
I always say too, and this I think applies to any art form, is like if you're not sure of where to go with it, just finish it, and then you could judge it. But you have to get it done first, or else it's like if it's this halfway done product, or
you're never gonna finish it.
Or
sometimes I used to, a little bit less now, but I used to leave it for a week and then come back later.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh mind.
Fresh mind. Sometimes you see new stuff and But it really depends on the mood. And it's okay to just sit back and...
Have you like canceled or sacked something entirely based on, you go, no, this is like, we have to, wrap it up here and start fresh. Basically canned it.
I destroyed sculpts that were almost finished.
Really?
Yeah,
out of frustration?
Because I was like, meh, that's not where...
Oh, really?
Give them to me. I'll take it later.
I guarantee it'll be good enough for me.
It's all melted.
He's going to repaint it and call it his own.
I'll be honest, because one day, I'm going to... My son is going to freak out, but I'm going to buy one of these masks. There's no... It's on video, by the way. I'm going to do this. There's no question. Right now, I got to move some things around.
I want to put an order in. Specifically, if you could get a mold of either one of these faces. And then go from there.
Put a hole big.
It doesn't have to be, you don't have to, since they look so similar.
He wants to
just one.
Just one is fine. And then I'll call them whatever I feel like.
Exactly. He wants to put it on John his wife when he has sex with her.
Exactly.
Yeah. Put my face on your
John
wife.
on Monday, Anthony round 2.
Yeah. Well, Friday. Put me for Friday. I'm more of a one-hitter quitter kind of guy. I need 3 days with court. But no, but you know what it is though? When John came home with the magnets, this is the first time I met you.
Yeah.
I look at these things, I go, fuck. There's something so good about what I like about they're the perfect size. Like I don't know what it is about that. Magnets. Magnets. He makes magnets.
Oh, you make magnets?
Well, I make magnets. Yeah.
Dude,
so I held everything. So
you not do?
You can do whatever you want.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I compare it to like the right tempo in a song. Too fast, too slow. It's not right. There's something about the size of something sometimes. And I held it in my hand. I'm like, this is as perfect.
Talking about the werewolf one or the skull one?
Both. They're both uniquely different sizes, but perfect. Like I don't know if you know that. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not verbalizing what I'm thinking properly, but like a tempo in a song. Speed it up, it's not as good. Slow it down, it's not as good. There's like a right size of your magnet. I don't know what it is, but you nailed it, dude. It's like right in your hand. Man. It's because it was not only the half skull, half there's that one in the werewolf. The pumpkin. Dude, the perfect.
Yeti.
Yeah, the Yeti.
Yeah.
They're absolutely too big or any bigger, and it's kind of loses its. I don't know what it is, man. Like you kind of just perfectly nailed it. I don't know. I just had to comment on that because I'm gonna get one of those too for sure.
I know the feeling when I'm.
Yeah, I know.
Holding the twins.
Corey's.
I know the feeling.
You know what?
Sorry. This is why the camera's gonna start panning.
Also, I wanted to ask you. Sorry to cut you off, but like, is there something you've seen? Or not necessarily, or something you haven't done yet, where you go, one day I'm gonna get that done. Like that's on the cusp or something. Like something you have to do.
Man, there's so many things that I have like a list of everything, every project.
Well, right now, what is the sort of
like doable or dream?
Dream. Let's go big. Let's think big. Let's
go big, like a monster suit. I mean,
the whole top to bottom.
Yeah, I've never done it, and I feel like if I get the opportunity, I'm gonna be like, oh fuck, I need to do it now.
Really?
And then I'll be like, I'll figure it out.
Really?
Right.
Wow.
So the opportunity, what does that look like? Is it materials or like?
No, just like someone hiring me for one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or like, oh, I want a monster suit or something.
Okay. All right.
Fuck it, I'll hire you. Make it for Halloween, man. I'll do it.
We were talking previously before we started, but I can't remember. Did you say that you've been to Salem before, or it's like a goal of yours?
I've never been to Salem. I've been to Salem, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, okay.
But not the Massachusetts side. Yeah.
There is a place there. I can't remember if it's all year round or they just bring it out on like the Halloween season. But there's a gallery of prosthetics.
Count Orlok's Nightmare Gallery.
Yes.
Wow, I don't know how I pulled that one out of my ass. But yeah,
I've been there like 2 or 3 times, and they sometimes they bring the same. Sorry?
They're wax figures.
It's wax figures, but they also do have like the molds of the masks. I remember they had a full wall of actors' faces, like to get their molds and stuff like that.
Like life size.
Yeah, life size. And that's one of my favorite parts about Salem is going to that gallery and just seeing all the different, like they have the suits and everything. Like they have the creatures, creature from the Black Lagoon. They have a full scale version of that. They have the American Werewolf in London. Like he's propped up on a ledge, like just
bearing down on movies.
Well, it's all like horror movie related.
Yeah. And that's a good point.
Never heard of that place.
Yeah,
it's on the main. Go there, it's got to be like the first place to go. Yeah, you have to go.
It's sort of the main artery of Salem,
dude. I mean, do you work there? Like this guy's like he's like City Hall over here. It's on Essex actually, on 4th and
But that's the IP versus the.
Here we go.
The what you want to design from your own head. Like, where are you at with that now? Because obviously for something like that gallery, it's like a lot of what sells is the IP thing. So is there a struggle between wanting to do your own thing versus kind of what is the more crowd pleasing thing?
I mean, I started with I was going to do only original stuff, and then the original stuff, like. It sells, but you cannot make a living out of it.
Yeah.
And then I went to Frightmare in the Falls in Niagara Falls, the big horror convention.
Yeah.
And then I had a booth there, and I made friends with a lot of people that were vending it as well. And they were like, "Man, you like your stuff is quality, but you need to do IPs." Like
right.
You have kind of no choice if you want to break it, make it in the industry. So, so I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna do it and try it. I came back and then I did that Vicky from Terrifier. Then automatically, like,
is that a character?
It just picked up.
Vicky, I never seen Terrifier. It's a character.
It's Victoria Hayes. It's like a sidekick.
Oh, okay. Because I saw the Terrifier mask you got. That I know. I haven't seen the movies, but that's obviously very well known. Okay.
So it picked up once you started doing IPs. Was that a recent thing?
Very recent.
Because I remember you said you were pretty much only looking to do. Okay, very recent.
When I came back. Wow, no, it was in October and then December.
Okay.
December, I figured it out.
Okay. So you've noticed that shift. Yeah.
Yeah. Huge shift. So.
Do you still maintain that is there a balance between what you create on your own, and when I say on your own, I mean like
original
your
stuff.
own original stuff versus the IP thing, or is it now leaning heavily towards maybe?
I want to do both.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I have no choice to do IPs, but at the same time, I need to get things out of.
I think it also attracts. Yeah, it attracts the fan base too.
And IPs, I get introduced to a lot of people through that, and then after they can appreciate my originals, I guess.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
You know what movie? I just saw John's little collection of VHS. Have you seen Legend by chance? The movie Legend with Tim Curry?
No.
Dude, you want to see some insane makeup? Yeah. That is something that is insane.
Is it the one with the big devil?
Yeah.
You've
seen it?
I've seen the character, but I've never seen the movie.
Okay,
Skip it.
Yeah. No, dude, come on. Are you serious?
No, skip it.
No, don't skip it. It's
you're gonna have this.
It's a lot of Tom Cruise. A lot of Tom Cruise running through a forest with unicorns.
Oh, not so fast. I think it's fantastic. Definitely a unique. It's Ridley Scott, by the way, who made, who's also awesome. But I would recommend it, even if you may think it's like I just 'cause the movie's bad, like not necessarily good. I would still recommend certain. Like, dude, I would recommend the movie Spice World. You know why? There's a moment in timeness in that movie that like you can't. That movie cannot get made except for that time a year. Yeah. That year with those girls. Even though it's trash, but I would recommend it. I'd be like, watch it.
Anything with Van Damme for me. Just go nuts.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Have fun. You will enjoy it.
He knocked out a snake once, but yeah, okay. So that movie is an example of like a very strong makeup, but that character is very iconic.
That character design is insane, is phenomenal.
Even a guy like me, again, not in the business, I look at that and I go, how the fuck?
Oh, you know it, dude. Like you look at it from afar, and then you're like,
impressive.
I know what that is.
Hours and hours and hours daily, probably for them, you know, for sure. Yeah.
But how the community now? Like how many? I don't know how many people for Montreal, let alone I don't know how many you guys are, probably a couple. But as far as the community, what's that like? As far, do you guys communicate with each other?
The mass community has been
tight, I guess.
It's so tight. It's small.
Yeah.
But once you're in, you're kind of like everybody's so supportive.
You're a brother, you know.
Yeah. No. They
unlike the guitar community, eh?
Yeah,
that is cutthroat. People hate each other.
Music.
Oh man, it's not good.
Well, I don't know. I'm not in it. Like
but you know what I'm saying. Dude.
Yeah,
it's very
when anything's too niche too, that there could be that element of competition too.
But it doesn't feel competition at all. Everybody support each other. Everybody share everybody's work.
That's cool.
Everybody knows.
Well, I
each
notice
other.
you do. Yeah, a lot of times you post things.
But a lot of people are sharing my stuff, and I'm really grateful for. Every share
That's nice.
Every support that I have. Okay. It's been helping me grow so much. Yeah. And
there aren't many of you guys. Like I said, it's a bit of a lost art. Hopefully it does come back. And I think you're right as far as the tendency of the people that appreciated those movies and those that process of creating things that are
with our
human.
And stuff.
That coming back into it. Do you see that there's going to be a bit of a resurgence for this type of thing?
I think so.
I mean, there's always going to be an audience, but getting it to
I mean, especially with horror being big as it is right now, and everybody's collecting stuff, and we want stuff. We want to feel stuff. We want to be surrounded by stuff that we like, that are nice, that are cool, or...
I think the pendulum swings so far, sometimes one way versus the other, I mean, we're bound to come back. Everything kind of has peaks and valleys, right?
Yeah,
we're talking about this on the way here. 3D movies used to be like, you couldn't go to a cinema without putting on paper glasses. Now,
it's not there anymore.
It's not there anymore. Thank God. In my opinion, that's we're better off for it, but, it was not enjoyable. Now it kind of... okay, it's enough now. Like, let's just go back to
but it was there in the 50s.
It was, but people
came in the 90s with the Spy Kids movies and stuff, or 2000s.
But it's the 50s.
And then it came back, and then...
They had to give, because people got same... Okay, so the 50s, what happened was television screens came into people's homes. We didn't need to go to the theater. Oh, we got to get money. We can't have these... So put 3D movies out there. We got to get reasons for people to go out and spend money. That was the 50s. Now Netflix comes around. Everyone's got movies at home. They don't need to go to the cinema. Oh, put 3D out. Like, there's got to, like, so, at some point people go, okay, I kind of miss going out. I don't want to put glasses on. Let's actually just put good products out there. I think you can remove all that with good movies. Quality. Put quality out there. I will go out. I went out to see Nosferatu. I was not going to wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and they're
you got the popcorn bucket too.
The what?
The popcorn bucket.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah.
That's the big thing.
That's the big thing. And go on the first weekend, because otherwise they're going to be sold out.
Oh yeah,
I spent $60 on a Wolverine one, so I know how much it hurts. But sometimes you just gotta have it.
Were you gonna ask something? Because I think I
don't like. I understand that it's all a money thing, right? It's a big engine. But, they're focusing in the wrong places. It's not, okay, people need a gimmick or something to come back. It's like, no, you need to lower your fucking popcorn prices for me to come to the movie theater. That's what it is. Like, that's what deters me from going to the movie theater is like, fuck, I got to spend $100 like for me and my wife to go see a movie. That's crazy. Including my popcorn bucket. But still, like, bring down the prices a bit.
Yeah. We tried the VIP.
I never done that. I want to do that.
Do it, man.
Really?
Oh, really?
I heard good things.
Where they bring you food and stuff?
Yeah, they bring you food. You look like a fucking prince or something.
I agree with that.
The chairs are like a little bit wider.
I heard good things.
I like the chairs.
And then
the chairs,
you get
they
like,
gotta stay.
okay, I get a pizza, and then you get it. It's nasty pizza that you would get like at the Bell Center or something like that.
Is this the one in Quartier du 30?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I haven't
Bertrand.
been. Yeah.
And,
I never done it. I kind of still want to try.
Like so you pay for the movie a little bit extra because of the fancy seats.
Yeah.
You have a bigger cup holder, whatever. And then you have the food that is way overpriced for what it is.
Yeah.
I think for both of us, for Indiana Jones with a pizza and a popcorn, it was like $120.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
I was like, never again.
No.
like, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that's
for Indiana
It's a
Jones.
one and done type of
like
thing.
I like my movies in an old decrepit mall.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, like they call it like Cineplex Odeon.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah, gum stains in the thing. Yeah.
I love it when
The
you
floor is
you can't walk. It's
No,
just-
exactly.
You're
It's
sticking to the
sticky.
floor.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
like
my shoelaces
one
are fit.
employee,
Yeah.
He rips your ticket. He also gives you the popcorn and he sells you the ticket. And after he cleans
He
it,
runs the-
he just runs the entire thing. He's like,
He earns his paycheck, that kid. Yeah. God bless. He's going to go far in life, that guy. Yeah.
like there's no angles in the seats. It's all flat. Like I want to be there. Like, that's
it's so hit or miss at theaters lately because the decorum has been thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Lately it's been better. Like I mean, I haven't had any.
It depends.
The last few times I've been good with it, but I've also Nosferatu. We went at like 1 p.m. It was a
I think
matinee.
Nosferatu begs for
matinee
film.
1 p.m. That's not matinee.
Oh, yeah, for me, it's like if it's not dark, like I came out and it was light, so like okay, I guess not. But I think it also depends on the kind of movie. But there's movies I'm like, I just don't want to go in the theater because I'm gonna be that old guy screaming like internally anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes not. But yeah, like I don't want to. It's just because you're inviting people into your living room that you don't know. And it's not like they don't have to upkeep your standards. It's just like you're going on to
It's a bit of etiquette, I'd say.
Yeah, but you're going into a setting where you have no control over people, and it's like that could be great
you have
or
a
not
phone
good.
there, and then someone talking a little bit too loudly.
And no matter how
and-
much, it's like, well, just don't pay attention to it. It's like I can't. It's
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
right-
You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
like the more I don't pay attention, the more I'm paying attention to it.
Yeah,
so
it's-
I want to go to the theaters, and I do for the most part. If it's a movie, I want to support, and I think that's important. But it's really hit or miss, and it's like that's part of the ticket. You don't know if it's going to be.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, but conversely, we saw. Remember, can we get some fog in here, Alex? Please?
Okay,
thank you. I just want to.
Fog.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, actually, don't stop. And we had this was so long ago, but do you remember when we saw Drag Me to Hell?
Yeah,
Oh, that's such a good movie.
I know, but that
Underrated.
begged for
So
involvement,
underrated.
not phones on, not screaming, but people were like into the movie, but because of the movie, you know what I mean? Like it kind of asked
But
for
horror, you're gonna get that more often.
yeah,
That was one of my
like,
favorite
it's
theater
fun.
experiences to this day.
Yeah.
Is seeing that movie.
Well,
'cause-
people were into it, right? There was it was almost like right under the level of throwing popcorn at the screen. In fact, I think someone did. Like
Yeah.
it was that
shouting at
type
the
of
screen,
animated
Nice.
audience, and I was like, this is so much fun. You won't get
Yeah,
that at like
no.
Because that felt like as
drama,
big as the
you
room
know?
was, it felt small. Do you know what I'm saying when I say that? Because people were reacting. It felt like they were like,
well, it's
we're
a ripple
all feeling
effect.
the same
It's
thing.
a ripple effect.
Yeah.
The guys in the front row now, if one guy reacts, the whole theater's like, oh, I guess it's okay, so now it just sort of spreads that way. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
it was a really
exactly.
I know
And then
that was a good example.
when there's a scare, everybody screams,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
you have that one teenager that screams overly, and everybody laughs at her.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, do you like
For
Sam
that.
Raimi movies?
I love
Sam Raimi. Okay, thank you. I was gonna say, I hope I'm not like I think
No,
most
no,
people
no.
do. He's
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah. I think you point out Drag Me to Hell, and I think it's
One of
so
those good modern, so simple.
underweight.
Dude, it's underrated. I totally agree, but it's such a simple, nothing crazy. Is it elevated? I don't know. Does it qualify? But I think so. I think it kicks the shit out of a lot of movies nowadays. And how old is that one now? Like it's already like 13 years old.
15 years.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
I felt like I saw it yesterday.
Like mid,
Yeah,
no,
early 2000. I think.
like mid or something.
No, it was.
I remember seeing it on demand.
8,
Yeah, it was like
9?
2009, 10ish.
What? No.
Really?
I also
No, before that.
We'll fact check
Really?
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere there. Actually,
I would say like 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you might be
Talk
right.
about a bad
2009.
like timeline
2009?
for movies though.
What?
Bad timeline. Well, that one stood out.
2006-ish. I know there's some that stand out, but like
I agree, now it's
horror
getting better.
during
It's
that
getting better.
generation was pretty bad.
It's getting
What?
better.
like 2006.
Wait, because I'm agreeing with Corey. What do you think, Chuck? Because I agree with you.
I grew up with all the slasher remakes.
Yeah,
from the 2000s. Like, I guess it's probably 2003. Maybe it was done by 2006.
Well, Freddy vs. Jason and all that.
Yeah.
But I love stuff like that. Yeah. But it's just that there's something about, and you know, I'm just thinking of one movie specifically, but like House of Wax or something, like the remake with like Paris Hilton and stuff like that.
You cannot say that you didn't like it. No, I rewatched it.
I haven't seen it.
2 Halloween ago.
I haven't seen it.
That's so good.
Really, the remake? I
love it.
I know what you're saying.
For me,
I'm tending to lean a little on Corey's end because I agree that a lot of them were like a lot of remakes, which doesn't mean they're bad. Because I actually didn't mind the Friday the 13th remake with Jared Padalecki. I didn't mind that.
It's not even just the remakes. Like there was another one that I watched. So House of Wax is one of them.
Yeah,
I was kind of just doing on a roll of watching early 2000s horror. Yeah. And another one was Ghost Ship. I don't know if you've seen Ghost Ship.
I like Ghost Ship,
but that's like the new metal music in there. The weird the quick cuts and like the distortion.
Very 2000. The canted angles a bit.
Yes, I don't know. It's hard for me to watch some of those sometimes. But.
I agree because they don't always it's again back to the moment in timeness of these movies. Sometimes it just ages badly because it's like again, it's like just I can hear Evanescence playing in the background and yeah.
Yeah, it only worked.
I agree with that. I agree. It only worked in Daredevil. That's true. Yeah, there'll be no slander in Daredevil.
No slander.
I mean, I kind of asked this before, but do you have a favorite decade for horror? Because you said slasher, so in my head, I'm like, well, 80s.
They're so different. 80s, that's a good pick. But 50s, you can't replace 50s. They're so cool. Not my favorite, but it's so 50s.
But it has an identity. But
I couldn't really pick one. I think because I'm so influenced by 80s, 90s, 2000, early 2000, and then the 30s. Like there's something with old movies that I just
me too.
love.
Black
so
and
much.
white instantly adds.
Yeah. There's just like a texture to it.
Yeah, I agree. And the sets were impressive. Like they were huge, man. Yeah. You know, it wasn't no green screens happening there. They built all that. You know, and even at those for that time, you would think it would be like somewhat. They went all in with their production. Yeah. You know,
and it was like handmade. Everything was
I
built
think
by
80s,
someone. The 80s.
I think 80s was peak prosthetic.
It had to be
practical effects. Like 80, like the list. Like you have a picture over there of The Thing. The Thing is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And, the effects. They tried to make a prequel or whatever 2011 and they did it all CGI. It takes
what were they thinking?
What were they thinking? Well, what is sad is that they build everything
they did and then they scrapped
practical it. I know so many great artists that worked on it and then they just cut him off and put
you knew the people working
they
not
cut
personally,
it all
but I mean,
wow but it is true they cut it
it's so much talented artists that were worked on that and they just removed it.
You can clearly see a lot of those guys in the 80s they remember watching movies from the 40s and 30s because that's their they're at this point in the in the game they're in their late 20s 30s they remember these old movies so it's like that and conversely us 80s 90s watchers getting so it's like this generational there's going to be like a high a low because you're seeing a lot of those nostalgic things come. Everything's nostalgia now. It's like the big money maker. So part of that is we liked.
No one will want to live in the present.
They fantasize about yesteryear,
the past. Yeah.
So it is true. I guess like what he was saying is that things coming back now, practical. Like it seems like it's harder than ever because our age group is now on the rise. You see 90s movies and 80s movies. Or
remade,
or stories, what do you call it? Period pieces now from back then, which is it's already 40 years, man.
Yeah.
It's 40 years.
Well, the guy, the director, Robert Eggers, right? Nosferatu. I saw he did an interview and he said like they asked him if he would ever do because his whole what do you call it?
Filmography,
is all period pieces in a sense. And they asked him, would he ever do something modern? And he's like, I wouldn't be able to put a cell phone in a movie. He's like, I'm going to stick to period pieces for his whole thing. And I'm like, yeah, thank you.
I say this a lot. I'm watching TV shows like something like The Simpsons where it's like ubiquitous now. It's been around since before I was born. And I'm like, you can't, for me, I can't watch episodes today that they're referencing TikTok. and it's Bart Simpson. I'm like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Yeah. I'm even the artwork. It's too clean now, and it's just there's things where if I see Bart texting, I'm like, it doesn't fucking do it for me, man. I just can't do it.
You know what bugs me the most, and this is so just I feel out of left field, but for what you're just saying. In the Simpsons intro, when it cuts to the TV, when it cuts to the TV at the end, and now it's like a flat screen.
You serious?
That drives me nuts. Yeah, it's not the box that you think. It's not a box TV anymore.
It's such a small thing, but I don't know why. To me,
that drives me crazy.
I have the same reaction you just had. It's like it's nothing wrong with it. Like I get it. They have to adapt. It's a different audience watching now. If that, I don't even know. But it's like. It just doesn't. It doesn't. I can't.
Bart never grows up.
I just can't click with it, man. I can't. Yeah.
Well, Bugs Bunny had a cell phone actually recently. I don't know if you noticed. Really? No, I'm kidding. But imagine though,
probably that's
did. Okay. Can we lose a carrot? Give him TikTok.
It's texting Lola Bunny. Yeah, sliding in her DMs.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. I have a hard time with that concept too. So.
Well, that guy Robert Eggers is known for being less of a filmmaker but more of a historian. He considers himself he's like, no, I translate my passion, my real passion is history. So again, of course the guy had a mustache, man. Like everyone wore mustaches. And sorry, I'm off the topic, but he's making a Wolfman movie.
Okay, you know
what? In talks,
but I think it'll happen.
There's a lot of that coming up. Okay, so The Mummy, again, this is 25, 26, so we have Frankenstein, The Mummy, Wolfman.
Wait, The Mummy's coming out?
The Mummy's going to be
made again. God.
Yeah.
By who?
Sorry to cut you off.
I don't know.
I love Brendan Fraser's Mummy, by the way.
But Universal tried to do they tried to bring back the Universal and they kicked it off with Tom Cruise's The Mummy. Yeah. Thank God all that stuff got thrown into the trash.
I'm kind of sad that's what I'm worried about. Did though?
Did you want to see what they could have done? Because they
made it.
I didn't know Brendan Fraser was the glue to Universal. Did you know Brendan Fraser is the reason it was successful?
I just watched Mummy Returns the other day.
Amazing.
But
my worry is that they're gonna make it into like what happened with the Marvel thing, which is a universe, and they're gonna. I'm like, just make standalone movies.
Not anymore though.
It's Universal that does it. It's not Disney. So I have a little bit more faith.
I hope so. Yeah. I think clearly it's not working. So maybe that'll be enough.
But yeah, exactly. It didn't work. They tried.
It did for a while, but like we're done. We're
the Mummy, and then we were like, okay, they scrapped it instead of going with it. They scrapped it, and then they're like, okay, we're going to do something else.
Yeah,
and then they're just releasing single movies.
Yeah,
which is fine. And people are not excited about them.
The monster movies.
Well, like they did the Invisible Man.
I don't think it'll. I hope it does well. I think in the right hands it could. Like
it was a little too different. I think for people.
Yeah, but
again, elevated a bit, a little bit elevated.
Do what you want. Like the Invisible Man, we've had it before.
Did we? When?
Well,
the original, man.
The original.
Yeah. Okay, but that was almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, but like if you want to watch the Invisible Man, watch that one.
No, but I understand that. But I understand remaking something that's like 80 years old. What?
Kevin Bacon was invisible in one movie. What was that one called?
What?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, the Kevin Bacon was. It's basically the Invisible Man. What's it called?
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
this is in the 90s.
Well, okay, but I'm saying is that like. That's not Invisible Man is a bit of like a B tier monster. You know what I mean? It's not like
that movie.
I would even put the Mummy in that B tier. You know, like the top ones are Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman. Those are the heavy hitters. Invisible Man, the Mummy. It's like you're
a second grade.
A little bit, yeah. So like I don't mind that off.
Underrated though. The original Invisible Man is awesome. Yeah. I love it.
Good.
It's so good, dude.
I still like every time I look at the practical effects.
That's
it's good, right?
Like the same.
I know when he's unraveling. And back in the day, when that movie come out, 33, something like that. 33, I think.
A bit later.
I'm gonna say 33, 34.
Fuck, I don't remember.
Can we fact check this?
And going back to connected universes, the Universal Monsters like started that.
Yeah. The universe,
yeah, because they had everything was separate, and then eventually it was like Wolfman versus Frankenstein or whatever.
What year?
Dracula versus this person, and then it was
33. It was 33. Yeah,
bro. Yeah, don't ever question.
You know what? I have to bring this up because another thing that I feel, the artwork and posters. I have to say.
Oh yeah, let's.
Do you have this weird? I don't think it's weird, but like this. Well, clearly you have an affinity for it, but do you find the beauty of like again? How do we go from this to? I mean, it's not the same genre, but some covers on. I mean, you don't even get that anymore because everything's on streaming now. So you lost that marketing tool to like, okay, well, your movie poster was really the trailer in a lot of ways. That's what you went for. If it looked a certain, like, I've picked up movies. I'm like, I'm only going off of the. You
go to the video store, Blockbuster.
But that's I don't know what I'm not reading the back. What the hell? This looks sick. I'm buying it, or renting it.
And it's tough when they all look the same now.
I know you can't see this, but like again, I'm pulling up the Invisible Man.
Well, it's actually right behind you guys. Whoever wants to see it.
It's
right
literally
there.
It's literally there.
Wow. Okay. That's the exact same one I have.
Yeah, but all 5 of these are excellent versions.
To me, this is absolutely a work of art. Like you really.
But it is. I totally agree.
The only thing.
Yeah.
It's the girl in the mummy. The face
of the girl.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I can't tell from here. But she looks kind of gross, eh?
Yeah,
it's a little off.
She looks gross. Yeah, I hate to be, but like, come on, man.
But nowadays, like to use the superhero movies and stuff as an example,
they're all the same.
All the posters are the same. Exactly. You've got the superhero, the villain, and then all the side characters.
It's literally a meme. Yeah, I saw that. It was copy paste.
Same color. It's
still true, man.
Palette.
Oh man, it's
dude, I don't know.
It's such a downgrade though, but like we know what we used to have this.
How do we? It's not selling. It's not selling the movie, so they don't have to put money in it.
I was gonna say, dude,
it's true. It's true.
Look at Cars. Same with Cars.
You have trailers and stuff now.
Are you telling me Cars? You tell me a 2023, a Tesla is gonna be in a museum one day? No, maybe for like significance in like sign. Not because of its look.
The Cybertruck will be.
I'm just trying to make a point, man. I'm just like, it's true. There's a I don't want to say this, but it's true, in my opinion, downgrade. It's just, how much could we cut that we don't need to care for? They're still going to come. It feels like an abuse of like, they're going to come anyway. Just give them shit. It's like, hey, man, really? Like, I don't know. But you're right. I totally agree with you because this is stunning. This is universally appealing. If you show this to someone in the Philippines, they're going to be like, that looks fucking awesome. I get it. It looks very cool. Like, okay, that's, it makes sense. You know what I mean?
What is the, sorry, did you want
Nope, go ahead. Go nuts.
Your brand, I guess you could say, is Chuck's Curiosities. Yeah. What's the Curiosities part?
What do you mean by
that? That's what I'm saying. What do I mean?
You're curious. Okay.
I'm curious.
I'll let the man answer.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Odysseys and Curiosities. It's just like I used to, when I started, I was like masks and like props, like
the magnet stuff, or
like keychains, shrunken heads.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Like
yes,
that. And that was like my line of where I was going, and then that's where I got the Curiosities, and then it kind of like stayed into the masks and a little bit of props, but more like sculptural, and I just kept the Curiosities, and I think it fits.
It does fit, yeah. It kind of leaves a lane open for like just whatever little thing that
anything that you want to collect.
The trailer that you made at one point, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. Can you elaborate?
It's a trailer that you made that, and when I saw him, like this guy, he absolutely gets. He just gets it. When you had this almost like B movie sort of like
do you know
complete cheap.
No, I haven't seen
I have no idea.
You basically
now I want to see it.
I don't have social media. I have no idea.
It was
a reel on Instagram, but you made it in a style that was very like low budget.
Yeah.
Can we show this on the video podcast?
Yeah, and you can find it on
No, but can we play it during the let's play it.
I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Hi there. I'm Chuck, and I'm here to introduce you my new Minimask series. Each one of these goblins is handcrafted and completely unique. That's right, folks, there's not a single one exactly the same. They come in a variety of colors, making them the perfect addition to any collection. Now I know what you're thinking. Chuck, what the f am I going to do with those? Well, let me tell you, you can stick them to the dash of your car, jazz up your computer with a few of these colorful characters. Oh, and don't forget about your music speakers. These goblins love to hang out and vibe to your favorite song. You can proudly display them in your favorite cabinet for all your guests to admire. So what are you waiting for? Add a pop of color and personality to your life. Grab yours today at Chuck's Curiosity Shop.
So yeah, you went in, you went all in on this. But yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, well, this guy, like, he has to. It just showed you had good taste. I don't know how else to put it, but there was definitely a thing. I'm like, okay, well, I just in watching it, I was like, this guy has a similar, I think, a love for horror movies. The macabre. And it wasn't even that it was like a horror-based thing, but it was just like, okay, yeah, you have this old school... It was just very like, I don't know, I can't really even articulate it.
I mean, I grew up in the 90s and 2000s and like kids' toys, commercials. Yeah. Always. Okay. It's funny because in Quebec, we didn't have toys commercials and stuff like that because it was not marketing directly to children and everything. And I would travel in Florida every year with my parents for like months.
It's as a good Quebecer would,
exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of standard. Yeah, it's in the ritual of it's in the contract.
I would be fascinated by the commercials, like the Nerf guns and the
States?
slip and slide commercials, and
the commercials were
just so like flashy, cheesy, catchy, and I grew up with that in Florida, so I just wanted to bring a little bit of that back.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. But the commercials you mentioned too, like I thought they were a lot. I think commercials were just so much funner.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe because like now we get them on YouTube, we just skip them. So maybe there is a value to them. But commercials were actually a lot of fun.
I mean, even television. You don't have commercials on television anymore. You have some, but everybody skips them.
Yeah.
I think now ads are even changing. Like it's more beneficial for a company to have like an ad on a hockey board, State Farm, instead of us making a commercial. Just put it on the rink. It'll last longer than our little 30-second effort that costs money. Just give them a little sheet of paper that says our name on it. It goes further. Like nowadays, back to wrestling. Stay with me for a second.
Were we on wrestling at one point?
Not recording. Oh, okay. No, we spoke about it before.
If you listen to 3 or 4 of our past episodes, it comes up every time.
So every time. I have my Bret Hart shirt here.
We're going to keep the ball rolling.
I have my Bret Hart shirt here. I came prepared, which any good Canadian does. But the point I'm trying to make is that now the ads are like in the wrestling ring as opposed to them showing up during the program, which is like crunch. Before there used to be like 7-Up. The announcers were. But it makes more sense that they just pay for the logo on the mat because it lasts longer, so I can go back and rewatch on Netflix and see my logo as opposed to some guy saying it for 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. But back to your point, commercials, it's true. They used to be budgeted, carefree. Like, what we're talking about generally? What I know the theme of this podcast so far has been like the true importance is in the details. Yeah. Like if people just cared a little more, put the mustache on the guy. You know what I mean? Like fuck it.
Okay, you know what? But we're off topic. Do you do this too? Where on Halloween, I watch. There's a YouTube channel that does. It's called channel surfing, I think. Or I don't know the exact name of it, but it's you choose a year. Let's just say 1994, and it recreates youth going through the channels.
Well, no, but they're real commercials. It doesn't recreate.
But it compiled it in a way that and it literally between each shot, it'll be like a channel switching thing where you see a bit of static, and it'll basically. Literally, it's a time warp, as if you were channel surfing in 1994 during the October month, and you just see it'll just cut randomly to random things, like today on so and so Halloween festivities, and then it'll jump cut to Bart Simpson Halloween special. Or
for some reason, Elvira's always in it.
She's always in it. You get to see the commercials that used to. You would be able to watch it in those days, and it's like
what I do?
Love watching that.
I kind of miss that.
I miss it. Obviously, there's a nostalgia factor for me personally because I was born 1990, so there is that bias about it. But I'm objectively, I just feel like there were a lot of it's higher quality.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a bit of
definitely. There was a theme on everything as well,
and a direction. There was you could see that there's a bit of a more I don't know, maybe more passion thrown into it. I don't know. Maybe it was simpler times back then too.
More care.
Yeah,
I think overall. It's just we're such in a world of rushing everything.
Yeah, and skip the ads.
Skip the ad. Next. What's next? And I think we missed that mark of things can take time.
Yeah,
it's okay to take time to make stuff for them to be good.
Yeah,
and not rushed. And I think coming back to mask making, sculpting takes time. Molding, it takes time. Painting, it takes time. A lot of time has been put in it. And I think it shows more than, if you're, okay, for example, I received, I needed to repaint a mask that was mass-produced. And mass-produced masks are sculpted by real sculptures here, but like then molded and they're casted like really fast, not cleaned, and painted in China or Mexico. And they're just painting fast, and it shows. Like you receive it, the picture it was nice online, and then you receive it, it's all fucked, and you're like, "What? I'm paying for that?" Like, well, it's rushed. That's what you get. So I think when you go to an artist that is a little bit more independent and does his thing.
Oh, I would agree with
it's
that.
quality.
I love places like Etsy. Like when I got my mask, I got it from a woman in Poland. She was one of one. I guess she had.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like she probably made like 5 or 6, but I had the last one because they said one left. So I don't know how true that is. Maybe it's not true.
So it's not one of one.
No, well, maybe not because that could be a marketing thing. But
Yeah.
she's like you. Basically, she's someone in Poland. She sent it to me. It took me like 5 weeks to get it. But I knew when I got it, and you could tell it's made of resin for what that's worth. I know it's highly like, you probably don't want to breathe resin, but like it's not just some plastic. It was made by hand. I appreciated that. I was willing to pay cost way more, but I knew when I got it, I painted something that was of quality, which I appreciate because I will pay more for something I care about if it's quality. Back to the movies, I'll pay for something if it's quality. Don't give me Avengers 19, dude. I'm done.
Well, also, it's like I want to know that there's a voice behind it. Like I think more and more we have an appetite, or I would say we're starving for that more. I think everything is kind of like copy paste template this, like back to the
people
movie
are
posters.
tired of that.
I'm exhausted.
And I think that's why horror and independent horror is so much working so well. Because people are just doing their A24.
Yeah. That studio is great. They let people
They're
kind of
so good. They just whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And they
I
just
love that.
do it. And it works.
And they did that in the 70s when they had to, because the industry in the 60s was, I'm talking movie industry, they were dying really, and they let in a bunch of young filmmakers, and they had a voice.
Look what came from it. Look what came from it.
Yeah, and you let them go. I think we could use that, but look, I don't know.
I think it's the death of the big studios. Like it might be big to say that, but it's.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Like,
I don't know if that's a bit dark.
It's unfortunate, but
they're not making quality. They don't need to. They don't. It's like, well, I can't. I heard this about like now IPs are safer for people to keep their jobs. Because if you let's say like if you make a movie like I don't know, freaking Monopoly, it'll be a movie one day, right? So hey, I'm gonna say Monopoly will come out, the movie will come out, and a guy goes, "Oh, it's not me. I pitched it, but it's not. I don't know Monopoly. It made this much money. I'm safe." It's like, well, if you pitch a movie like Field of Dreams for today, he's gonna lose his job. I don't think so. I think that movie is still it stands. That movie, but talk about a movie that can't get made today. A movie like that, I know. It's not in the wheelhouse of what we're discussing, but I think it has a point, to be. There's a point to be made about the fact that it's like, well, just because it's safe doesn't mean it's, could we try a little harder, make a little bit, turn the knife in a little bit, like, make it a little dangerous. I don't know.
Well, I like a lot of these A24 movies because they don't have a $500 million budget.
You don't need to.
So they don't need it, and it forces the people working on the movie to be more creative because they don't have this. They don't have the computer to just be like, all right, we need a big wave to look this way. Okay, just Control Alt this, and then it's there.
You said it perfectly before. Like creativity comes with you need to have limitations,
and a lower budget gives you limitation. That's fine.
Well, how much? Yeah.
Well, God, Halloween is a perfect example.
28 days they shot it, or 26 days.
Like I think
like 80 grand or something. No, maybe more. Maybe a little
even
more.
In those days, it was cheap. And it's the highest grossing film for that like budget class. It was it speaks for itself. It destroyed.
Let's be honest. The studio would make so much more money if they were invested properly like this.
Right. Yeah.
Because like the returns on those movies are like
because the cost
times
astronomical.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just look at Terrifier that just came back. Came out. Like the budget was still bigger than the two previous one, but still low.
So low, yeah.
And then they made like billions.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And that's big for horror too. Horror is known for small budget and big returns.
That's
that is
why
true.
It will never die.
Yeah.
But more than ever needed now.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, look, we could start winding down maybe, but
what a buzzkill, dude. This fucking guy. Why?
I don't know how much time we're on.
Get some more fog in here. We'll be fine. Alex, can we get some more fog?
Okay. I'm curious. Like, I have a bit of I lean in terms of like.
Yes, dude. Yes.
when you're trying to get a sculpt going, or obviously yes, you have the idea that's happening, but is there anything that you feel like you need to have during the process itself, whether it's music, it could be a lighting setting, just to help you get in the mood? Because if you're going into doing something like this, you can't, I would imagine there might be something that you might have to kind of create so you can feel that inspiration.
Yeah, I always go with music.
Okay.
I like, depending on where I'm, that's something that a lot of sculptors do, is depending on where you're at with the sculpt. You're gonna go with heavier music.
I was gonna say
slower music.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like
really? What's on the playlist?
Like
then?
when I start, like what's on the play. Lately it's been like Deftones.
Cool. Yeah.
I love like good energy music.
But why heavier versus softer? What process or what part in the process requires both, or one
heavier
or the other?
at the beginning, I would say, because I tend to work faster in the beginning, and then you slap the clay on it. And then you make the form a little bit quicker. And then when you get into the finer details, I kind of get like go with Radiohead, and
that's funny.
Total sense.
Put clay on, like meanwhile, like Careless Whispers on.
Like, okay, I'm just adding like little bits of clay, and then I'm like, okay, this and that. And
when does Creed come in though?
Yeah. More importantly, Creed.
At the beginning, man.
Yeah,
when it's just like you start with a bang.
When the masterpiece and when you end with it, when the masterpiece is complete,
Well, for me, when I was painting my mask, I had the WAP song on repeat. Like I had to have the WAP song. Yeah. Well, guys, it sparks creativity, man. You gotta try this.
It's the wet paint.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's my go-to with a WAP song, which is excellent.
I'm super organized as well in my work, so
you know what, man, I gotta commend you for this because I don't know what to expect, but I was expecting a little bit more of a mess. Not gonna lie, I mean it's just because it doesn't look like a clean art form either. Like there's clay. To me, clay is fucking
it's dirty. Well, I kind of
fucking clean, man.
I cleaned before.
Okay, well then,
no, but when we came last time, it was great.
You could have fooled me, man. It was
but I have a specific way of like, okay, my tools are this size, and then I take out only the tools that I need at that moment, and
I want to live here. That's for sure.
Clay there, and the setup needs to be kind of like perfect.
Yeah. Totally get it.
For me, and clean and organized. And
do you have a favorite tool? It's kind of a weird one, but
I do have a
This
favorite tool.
is why I ask these
for
questions.
sculpting. Yeah,
let's hear it.
Yeah, it's made by Old Monstrosity Shop.
Old Monstrosity Shop.
Yeah,
what is it? What's the tool?
They're in the UK. It's just like, I call it the only tool ever.
Okay.
Because I'm a big fan of Alex is on Fire. And
dude, the great band.
They're great. So
they're great.
It's my reference, my Canadian reference for the tool. But it's just I can show it to you.
Yeah, it'd be great. That'd be great.
So I don't know. This is all obviously new to us. We don't know what goes into this. So I'm very curious about this. Although
it's
like a scalpel.
Okay, I think I've seen something like this.
It's just this. Like I have like it's all caked with clay right now, but it's just a rake tool, a certain rake tool.
Now, what is this used for, generally speaking? Is this sort of a general part of it, or is this more for fine work? If you want to,
no, it's a general fine work. Well, not too fine. I have two sides of that same tool, but it's basically a rake, so you can go into the shapes.
Look, we're passing a joint around here.
Yeah,
puff, pass.
Yeah, you could use this during the WAP song.
Okay,
you could definitely use this.
It's just a rake that goes into the shapes. And you just refine your shape with that.
Okay.
And then you have one side that is a little bit coarser, and then the other side is a little bit tighter, so it cleans properly.
That's really cool.
Yeah, the shape is just perfect. I love that tool.
It's essential.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I can understand. I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with it, but I see your point. I'm loud and clear. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, it does look like a joint.
What's next on the horizon then? What's the next piece? And maybe we could...
What am I buying is what I want to know. Because that's going to be tough. Because guarantee... I said it on camera, I'm going to do it. But there's going to be options.
I mean, there's plenty of options.
What am I going to scare my son with, basically?
The mold of the twins' face, please.
Yeah.
I did have one question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Have you Have you made a creature from the Black Lagoon mask?
Oh, you would love that.
One of my favorites.
Because that would be
But you have a tattoo?
something I would pay. No, it's in the future I will. In the future I will.
Yeah, that's on my list for tattoos.
Yeah.
Frank,
Frank
Monster
Monster
there. That's on the list too. There's a lot on the list. It's just the money needs to come first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Creature is
Creature
one of the top.
And the iconic. So for the creature, there's different, I guess, looks, and by the look I'm thinking of is the lips. The red lips, is that like for Nosferatu, mustache, no mustache, red lips or no red lips? Like that's.
Wait, what do you ask?
Well, the original had the red.
But it's black and white.
It was a black and white, but
that's a good point. I don't know if the original had the red lips,
right?
But usually when you see a picture of that, it usually comes with the bright red lips.
As opposed to just green.
Yeah, or like
I like the red. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the red.
Well, not
lips.
too red.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a fucking.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I mean, not like lipstick red.
Yeah.
But like a toned down red.
I want the red lipstick. Like I want red. Yeah. Yes. Tattooed on me.
Oh god. Oh, okay. I thought this was just for the mask. You want
for the mask too. Yeah, bright red lips. I think.
Okay. Well, what time?
It's my opinion.
The tattoo will fade, so that's the good news.
That's why redder the better, because then the red lasts. Fair
point. But it is one of my favorite.
He looks cool.
It's Monsters. Iconic. Yeah,
we were looking at this. I don't know who the VFX artist was for this, and then after looking at it, Alex, you remember?
You mean the special effects?
Yeah,
it's who designed it. I don't remember name.
Millicent Patrick.
His name is Millicent.
It was a woman.
Her name, excuse me.
Which is most times, man. Yeah, that was a very man's world.
Well, no, it still is a man's world. The film industry.
Yeah, the problem with her is that she designed it. She made it, and then
someone stole that design.
Took the credit.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Steal the design. He just took the credit. I don't remember his name, but
it was her. It was Millicent.
It was her. She did everything, and he just took the credit.
Oh my god, that sucks.
That was time, part of the time. And really unfortunate, but nowadays, but today she gets all the credit.
Good for God bless.
That's one of my
favorites.
Iconic. And if you want to, the bodysuit thing that you mentioned, would you lean at something that is IP based, or would it be more for an original
or a movie or something like that?
So original or nothing.
Okay. I would say.
Who's this next to you? Is that an original?
Okay, no, that's the Goosebumps.
Okay, thank God. I was gonna. I felt like I was gonna sound like such an idiot. I was like,
But tell them more specifically. What is the Goosebumps?
It's from the book.
The book, not the actual episode. Because on the book, it doesn't match the episode.
Well, I have a collection of Goosebumps books, and it's that's why I asked. Because I'm like, why do I know this?
From the original.
I have part 2. Isn't there a Haunted Mask 2?
Yeah.
I have the second one, I think.
But the episode, what they shot on TV, wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Right.
This is on what you see on the book.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's the cover. So that's the thing. When I came downstairs for the first time, my eyes immediately went towards the mask.
And you came
recognized it. Didn't want to say anything because I was like, I don't want to sound like an idiot here. But I was like, holy shit, jeans got tighter. I was like, I'm in the right places.
I knew you'd love it because you were worried about because he's very he doesn't talk. So
introvert. I'm introvert as well.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm worried about not speaking. I'm like, okay, just come. Right?
Yeah. This is we say this a lot when we refer to people that share the same passion. I guess we all love horror. We love this. We love all this. But we always say this guy gets it. It's
he gets it.
As soon as I came in, I was like, this guy gets it.
He gets it.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no.
It's so rare that we meet people like that. Well,
it's a small community. I'm not part of this community, but I can relate to. Yeah, it's like talking to your not in the same way, but it's easy to talk to you.
Do you notice that you've traveled for reasons. You've traveled for your work, whether it's actually not just for your work, but your hobbies as well. You've been to the States, Florida, LA. I don't know. I'm assuming here, but you've seen the haunts that happen in the States versus here, or even not just the haunts, but the general community that you're in. Do you find there's a difference between how it feels here and how it's treated here versus in the States?
Huge difference. Like in the States, they just get it. The people know what to expect, and the standards are so high. We went 2 years ago to our first Halloween Horror Nights, and we just fell in love, and we tried to go back every year just for that event. And the haunts in general in the States is so much bigger, scarier, and in your face than whatever we have here in Quebec, at least, or in Canada, I guess. But it's
worth traveling there just to.
It is really worth traveling, because when we came back from the first year of Halloween Horror Nights, we're like, okay, now we're gonna try all the haunted attraction in Quebec.
And in Quebec, okay. Well, what's the big one here? Because I don't know. You're more involved in this.
I think his basement.
Oh, I mean, yeah, probably. Yeah. But I'll ask you that, and the Quebec one. Of course, it's lacking. But so if I had to choose where to go in Quebec and where I should go in the U.S., what would be the two options? And I'll end on that one.
I would say go in the U.S.
Fuck Quebec then. Okay, got it. That's
East Coast too. Is a lot close by.
It's unfortunate.
No,
but there's one that I haven't tried though. That is Hotel 5054, I think.
Hotel 54.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't tried it.
Where's that based?
Saint-Jean.
Saint-Jean. Okay.
Oh, it's not far.
Okay. But if
I haven't tried it yet, and I don't want to. But I've heard good things about that one.
All right.
It's a local. Great guys making it too. But
I'll mention your name. We'll get a discount. I hope.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't know. What the one we tried here, there were like not scary, short.
And then where if I'm going to the States, where should I go? Other than maybe Halloween Horror Nights.
We haven't tried a lot yet.
Okay.
But I have a friend that is doing decor in Canopy Park.
Okay.
And honestly, his standards are so high, and he works so hard on everything that he does, and he's so good at it. And it works super well.
I think it's bloody disgusting that I think their name is attached to a lot of these haunts. I don't know if it's them or I'm getting confused, but I think there's one company in the States that is like, they put on these high level productions all across the States for all types of haunts, and they're all theme based. So
I got to do more of that because I don't have the experience, and there's not much in Quebec, and we're so close to New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York. There's a ton of places here that's a few hours of drive, man. I got to do it.
It's worth traveling for it.
Okay, I got to do it.
And then if you do it, and then you come back here and you want to try something here, you're going to be like so disappointed.
La Ronde, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's culturally we're not there.
Yeah. And it's a shame. I think there's an audience for it here, but. I think, guys, with that said, Chuck, where can we find your stuff? Where, if someone wants to get, not just, to see your stuff, to maybe even place orders, where would they go?
You can go on my Etsy shop. The link is directly in my Instagram.
Okay. And what's your handle?
Chuck McDuff.
Okay. And we'll put a link in the description.
Yeah. And you can follow me. I post reels and updates quite often, and I try to connect with people and answer messages and reshare stuff and try to help everyone.
And thanks for helping us today, man.
Thank you, dude.
So
it's been a pleasure. I don't imagine this will be the only one.
No,
I hope
not.
I doubt it. I just want to hang on this basement a little longer. Yeah. So we'll do this again, I think.
Well, on that note, guys, I mean, we have a tradition on this podcast.
How are we going to do that?
We'll bring the candle.
It's going to be hot.
Okay, I think we'll manage. Corey, you do it.
Is it still on?
It's barely live.
All right.
Okay.
We lean in and we blow.
Go ahead.
You interpret that however you want.
Okay, yeah.
Get in here. Let's go. It's a force of it. And it blow.